Hi everyone. So, today we're going to talk about one of the most contentious issues in martial arts, and that is gradings. Should you grade? Why should you grade? Or why shouldn't you grade? How long should it take you to get your black belt? Does the belt actually matter? Every system and every style and every coach will tell you something slightly different. So I'm going to share what I think, and that is specific to the type of training that I do. With that being said, if you got your black belt in 12 months, online, or by the age of 8, you should probably stop watching right now because you're not going to like what I have to say. Okay, so for me, grading should signify progress and articulate the next steps that you need to take in order to progress further. With that being said, what does progress mean? Okay, I come from a type of training that is combative and I'd like to think effective in nature. In other words, I have trained in martial arts and I've got black belts in martial arts styles, but those were always trained in a combative way. What does that mean? We're working in a live way with resistance, with contact, with energy, with stuff that made us work on timing, so on and so forth. Right? I've also done combat sports, right? I've trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm a mere blue belt with a couple of stripes, right? And it's been a little bit of a while since I've trained because of injuries, but I have trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for several years, right? And again, the training is combative and the grading is based on combative performance. Okay, and then I've got a 3rd degree black belt in Krav Maga, and obviously the focus of that is entirely on application, right? So for me, when it comes to grading, it means you need to be able to do something, right? Do things. If your grading consists of memorizing a bunch of techniques, right, and then performing them on a fully cooperative training partner or in the air, then you may have learned some cool movement patterns. And that might have some value in terms of developing fitness and flexibility and balance, so on and so forth, but it has zero combative benefit, right? The problem with those kind of gradings is you get to your black belt and you think you can fight or protect yourself. You will hopefully never get to a position where you have to test that out because you will be sorely disappointed, okay, and dangerously so. So from my perspective, grading should be about application of skill. You learn stuff and then you put that stuff to the test in a grading. Now, how long does it take to get to a black belt? Well, how long is a piece of string? How much experience do you have? How frequently do you train? Who knows, right? But generally speaking, from my perspective, is it should take a while, right? Why is that? Because by the time somebody gets a black belt, and we're talking about combative styles that actually teach you how to fight, it's not just about fighting ability. By the time you get to your black belt, you need to also show that you have the right kind of character that will allow you to take those skills and use them responsibly. And more importantly, means when not to use them, okay? As well as being able and willing to share your knowledge with others. So it's also about teaching and contributing, right? And those things can take just as long to develop as fighting ability, okay? Now, how should you approach gradings? Well, I think you should jump into every grading that you can do because it's a great benchmark. You get feedback on your performance. It tells you where you're sitting. Whether you grade or not doesn't really matter as much as it's about the experience, about pushing yourself physically and mentally, and about finding out what you need to work on. And that's really what it's about. Okay? So in my opinion, you should jump into every grading you get the opportunity to do. Ask for feedback and treat that as a learning opportunity. What does the belt actually signify then? Well, it signifies where you are in your training, what things you have gained a certain level of competency in, what things you haven't, and how you can increase competency overall in all those areas, right? So it's not really about the belt color, right? Though the belt color may mean that you're focusing on things that are more cool, or I don't know. But it doesn't mean that at orange belt you can't fight and at green belt you can. if you're doing it that way, you're kind of getting it wrong. There may be certain things that you can do here and not there, and vice versa. Really, it's about pushing yourself, learning, and making sure that you have a clear pathway to improving your skill overall. Okay? With that in mind, think about your next grading, make sure you seek feedback, and push yourself physically and mentally.